Welcome to Hand and Heart DIY Studio. Today we are going to be making these daisy magnets and a lime green jar. Just simple things. Let's get into it. First, I'm going to go ahead and paint in the mica powder on these. I painted a gold in the center and a bright yellow on the outside, kind of giving it a sunflower feel. Once I've gotten the first one painted, I'm going to go ahead and clean off my brush and then paint the second one. Kind of sped things up just a little bit so that way you don't have to sit through the whole process. Once this is done, I have already mixed my remaining mica powder in with some clear resin, and I'm just going to pour these into the mold. Once I have it poured in, I kind of squish around a little bit to make sure that I have the resin in all of the small cavities. Dropping it on my table just to see if I could get some more bubbles to rise to the surface. This one I'm doing a tad bit differently. I'm just putting a little bit of resin in and kind of tilting the mold around to get the resin to go into those small cracks and crevices. And then I'll go ahead and top it off. Of course, pouring the resin in slowly to try to get some of those little bubbles to dissipate. Now I've kind of sped this up just a little bit so that way you're not sitting here all day watching me pour resin into the same mold. Once I get these filled to the top and domed, we're just going to let them sit and cure and move on to the next project, which is going to be our what I like to call lemon lime jar. My daughter picked these colors out, the yellow and the green, and we're going to kind of marble these a little bit and let's see what we come up with. So I'm trying to pour at the same time the yellow and the green to kind of give it a mixed swirl, but the yellow kind of dissipates a little bit in the green, making it a lighter color. I'm going to make sure that this is domed, but before I do, I'm going to go through and kind of squish the mold a little bit, kind of tap on it a little bit, trying to get all of the air bubbles to release and come to the top. We want to try to get as many of those micro bubbles as we possibly can out. What you see now is me scraping the cups, trying to get as much color as I possibly can out. So that way the top will actually match the jar itself. I have ran out of resin and I've got to mix up some more clear, but I want to incorporate those colors so that way they match. So I just scrape as much as I possibly can out of the cups and put it in the lid, and then I'll add clear to it. Now that I have my clear mixed up, I'm just going to add some clear to the top, and hopefully some of that pigment will mix in so it will match good. Now that we've got that domed, we let it sit. Now it's the demolding process. I have already cleaned off the tops of my molds with some isopropyl alcohol and paper towel. That turned out very nice. I love the colors. I may have used just a little bit too much of the dark in the center because you can still see the mica powder a little bit and there's still some mica powder left in the mold. As you see here, I'm trying to use some isopropyl alcohol to see if I can get some of it cleaned out, but I'll just wait until I use this mold again and hopefully it'll all come out because as you see, the mica powder just stayed behind. So moving right along, we're going to go ahead and get the rest of this demolded. As you see, I'm kind of peeling the outsides not to break the mold or break my piece, just kind of peeling around the outside edges a little bit. This one turned out just as pretty. I think I'm going to try these again in different colors, maybe blue and red with different color centers. But they turned out great. They're actually really thick and durable. Doing the same thing to this one that I did to the other one, trying to get a little bit of that extra mica powder out. I sped this part up, but I wanted to leave it in. Just so you see, I spray some isopropyl alcohol on the outside of the flowers. Just dab on it to make sure that there is no loose powders left. And no loose powders came off on my paper towel. So I went ahead and set them to the side, and we're going to move on with the unmolding of the jar. Back down to regular speed. We're going to peel the sides off a little bit. Use my thumbs and a little bit of isopropyl alcohol down inside to try to see if I can't squish it and make it a little easier to unmold. And that worked. Now, just to pop that center out of there, and it turned out very pretty. Now, the bottom of it, as you see, is very smooth, not rough. Let's see how this top, and this background really doesn't do it justice because of the green mat that it's on, but the colors turned out really well, and the top actually turned out, I guess you can kind of see it. You can see a little bit of the green and the yellow. I'm just checking my molds, making sure that there's no air pockets or air bubbles at the very top, making sure that everything fits. It looks really, really good. Everything is nice and smooth. Now it's time to see those final photos. I think this flower turned out very pretty, and I will be doing a lot more. As you see, I stuck a magnet on the back of it for the fridge. And this is the lemon lime jar. It turned out really good, and my daughter likes it, so that's a plus. Thank you for watching Hand and Heart DIY Studio. If you like what you see, please like, follow, and subscribe.